Last night, Billy Hollowell, he's one of our writers, he's the faith editor at TheBlaze, he wrote me a quick note. He said, Glenn, thank you for giving me a platform to write stories like this. Let me turn that to you. Thank you for building a platform that allows us, that encourages incredible stories to come forth. Things that you would never see on any other of the top sites in America. His story last night is one we want to give and introduce you to the people involved. It's about a pregnant woman who was considering an abortion but changed her mind. Why? Because of one Planned Parenthood protester who sat down and talked with her. Here's why they probably will never bother to report on these stories. The end result. Right there. Who's going to argue with this? The truth has no agenda, and the truth shall set you free. It's self-evident. I want to introduce you to the mother of those two twins, Rebecca Rizzi, and the woman who helped change her heart, Sherry Pierce. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you, Glenn.
Good. First of all, tell me this. Tell me the story. You are going to go in, get an abortion. You just think that there's absolutely no way that you can deal with this yourself.
Right. Well, initially, I had when I found out that I was pregnant, I just thought, well, I'm just going to have a baby, and after talking to the father, a couple days had passed, and he said to me at one point, he said, Rebecca, well, it's not too late, we have options. And knowing what he was saying, I'm just like, I was very offended. I was saying, what do you mean there are options? But within probably a 24 to a 48-hour period after that conversation, I was solidly convinced that I did have to have an abortion. I started, questioning things. How am I going to do this? And, what resources am I going to use? I didn't really have any family or friends connections for quite a while. And so, yeah, at that point, I was just really convinced. I was determined that I have to do this. And I had called them and made an appointment. They explained to me, what they would do, what would happen. And I went in that day to the pre-counseling that they were going to do prior to 24 hours prior to having the abortion.
And what did they say to you?
Well, the woman that I spoke to over the phone, she told me that I had to wait a couple more days beyond, when I initially wanted to go in. She said I had to be at least 5 weeks. And she told me that there would be a 24-hour pre-counseling that I have to go through. She didn't really explain what would happen in the pre-counseling, just that it was, was the law. That's what we had to do. And she said, after that, we'll make another appointment, and they would give me. She said that they would give me a pill to stop the pregnancy, and then send me home with another pill to expel the pregnancy, and that it would be like having your monthly cycle, is how she described it.
So you go in, and then what happens?
Well, driving there, I really didn't want to. I was just hoping for anything to come up that would stop me. But then I just kept pushing myself. I'm like, no, I have to do this. I don't really have another option. So came into the parking lot, and I could, across the way, see Sherry and Pat and Lou, and they were, calling out. They were saying things, let us help you, let us give you information. We want to help you. And I went in the opposite direction. I went inside, and, they had me sign in and sit down for probably an hour past the appointment, the time that I actually had the appointment for. And she, excuse me, about an hour later, they called me up so that I could pay for the appointment. And then they, I was kind of wondering, how long is this going to take? I didn't really want to be there. And I sat down, and every time somebody had come in or out, every time they opened the door, you could hear them calling out, still saying it, let us help you. And as morbid as it might sound, it made me smile. I liked to hear that, that they were trying to, they were trying to save people from having to do this. So,
okay, so let me just stop here for a second, because Sherry, first of all, 180movie.com, phenomenal. Thank you for the reminder.
Yes. Yes.
I would like you, because we can hear the babies, I'd like you both to pick the children up and introduce them to the audience here in a second. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then I want to come back and, Sherry, hear what you said, what happened that day, and how this whole thing worked, and then we'll meet the beautiful, beautiful children.
And they are beautiful.
Yep. Back in just a second.